Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports, and a very special Peacemaker season premiere edition of My Mom's Basement. Season 2 is back. It's been a long wait. Obviously, James Gunn had a lot on his plate in between season 1 and season 2, but finally, John Cena's back in the tidy whities. We're here to talk about it. We're happy to talk about it. Clem, how we doing?
We're doing good. Very happy. Peacemaker's back in our lives. It's one of the things that was like, oh, that's coming soon. It's coming soon. And then it just was here. It was just summer is over, basically. So it means Peacemaker's return. So very happy, though, that it's back.
And thank you to everyone for being very patient. I had obviously the big Pup Punk show for the Stool Beach House on Friday night. Finally, or Friday afternoon, really. Finally got to play the Jersey Shore, which is kind of a bucket list thing for me. Like, grew up going to the Jersey Shore, got to play Martell's Tiki Bar on the boardwalk. Shout out everyone at Martell's. The place flooded because of the hurricane the night before we were supposed to go on. Stage destroyed, bar, sandbags everywhere. They went there at like 5 a.m, started shoveling out the sand for us. Wound up being an absolute party. I had foxes rolling deep. I think I had 15 members of my family there. It was like cousins, aunts, uncles. Obviously, my brother played with us and stuff. It was a great time. I wish we could have had you there, Clem.
What is a group of foxes called? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I've never thought about that.
A group of foxes. I see skulk. A skulk of foxes.
Skulk sounds cool.
Leash.
Sounds like
earth.
skull.
An earth of foxes. A
like
lead of foxes or a troop of foxes. You have some good choices there. So
I like a troop or a skulk.
A skulk of foxes descended upon. What was the name of the place?
Martell's Tiki Bar. It's iconic on the Jersey Shore on Jenks Boardwalk. Yeah. Dante the Don DJ'd for us right beforehand. It's like having the Beatles open up for you. You know, the Don himself.
The Don's big weekend too, so it was like definitely his signature weekend was right as, and then Pup Punk got it rocking, and it was, how was it just being in the vibe of a reality show of absolute
it was
idiocy.
Funny. I told my family, like, you stay away from the reality show. I don't want to see Robbie's cousin is fucking fighting with someone on the reality show. Robbie's uncle is like doing shots. I don't want any of that. But they stayed away. They were all nice. It was funny when they walked in as a squad, the whole cast, and Frankie goes, oh shit, I think I'm getting starstruck right now. He's like, individually, I don't care, but when they're together, that's the cast of the Beach House right there. And they were like, I was worried that because we were going on 3 p.m., it was going to be like a chill vibe. So I told Nicky Smokes, make sure the house is lit by 3 p.m. And he made sure. They showed up and they were feeling it. Tommy Smokes, we were trying to sound check. He's kissing Frankie on the cheek mid show. He's like yelling at Frankie. It was funny. We told Tommy he could come up for Mr. Brightside. And beforehand, we're like in a restaurant part of Martell's. Families are eating there, but it's very like everyone's outside and the restaurant's chill. And Tommy sees me and Lady Fox, and he just starts a cappella singing Mr. Brightside. But I thought maybe he would stop after the chorus. He sang us like a 4-minute song in the restaurant. We were like, Tommy, save your voice, save your voice. And then we pranked him and we introduced like, oh, we got a very special person from Barstool coming up. Everyone, give it up for the incredibly talented Peyton. And then we brought up producer Peyton instead of Tommy, and he was distraught. We brought him up for the second half of the song. So it wasn't a full prank. It was more of a tease, but it was fun. I mean, Kadek, I got to meet for the first time. I'm a complete Kadek crawler. He was a great time. Ella tore it down on stage with us. We had everyone up on stage by the end, Chicken Fry and Una and Tommy, and Nicky Smokes was the best. I saw him at one point on Friday. He just goes, you, Darth Vader, episode 5. And again, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. But when Nicky Smoke says that to you, you just give him a pound. You're like, fuck yeah, bro. I was thinking the same exact thing.
He's the best. You say you just will
like
just text you lines. It just doesn't really make sense, but that's our guy. That's why Nicky's Nicky.
How about today? Obviously, we saw the Beach House drama last night. Maybe him and Annika were canoodling, maybe getting back together or something. And he tweeted like Anakin and Padme. Again, I had to quote tweet and be like, Nikki, we're rooting for an alternate ending here. Let's make that very clear. These two did not wind up, the happiest, Steve Rogers and Peggy dancing in their fucking living room. It was a little darker than that.
Nikki is a basement boy, but sometimes he doesn't stay for the ending of the movies in the basement. I feel and he just doesn't know how it ends. So
we got to keep reminding him how those movies end.
Mustafar, Nikki. Don't forget what happens in Mustafar. We can't cut it off then. We don't like to watch that part. It's sad, but it's like seeing Mufasa die. You have to watch it sometimes to learn the lessons involved.
Yeah. Quick basement keeping. We want to remind everyone about one of our favorite sponsors before we get into a little bit of nerd news and then obviously the Peacemaker recap. That is Game Time. There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute, unless you're a Yankee fan. But luckily for me, I always use Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time actually makes tickets faster and easier, makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app go down the closer it gets to showtime. I was just looking at tickets for Oasis Soldier Field Thursday. I'm going. Thanks to Game Time. I'll be there on Thursday at Soldier Field, Chicago. I'll be there on Sunday at MetLife, and I'll be there on Monday at MetLife. I'm going 3 days in the next week. And I wouldn't be able to do that without Game Time. Put those savings back in your pocket. Spend it on some merch. Spend it on a hot dog. Spend it on anything at the ballpark or at the, what do you call a field, Soldier Field? At the Gridiron?
The Gridiron? The stadium.
Yeah. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code MMB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code MMB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. And keep an eye out for Pup Punk dates. Might be on Game Time. I'm not quite sure yet, but we will have at least 5 dates this fall, winter. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're hitting some college towns. We're hitting some big cities. Keep an eye out.
I have to ask you, too, right before we transition into nerd news, since we're still in the Jersey Shore land, it was getting a Midway steak feasible? I don't even know where they are versus where the Midways are. Did you get a Midway steak?
I did the next day. Jenks is a little bit further from Seaside. So I said, all right, we'll make this the Jenks day. We had a great time. Went back to my mom's afterwards. All got pizza because my brother was in town and stuff. But then yesterday I said, all right, we got to celebrate. Go to the boardwalk. We got some Midway. We got waffles and ice cream. The friggin' waffle ice cream sandwich. Oh, it was so good. And then there was wrestling on the boardwalk. We were walking on the boardwalk. I saw commotion. I said, oh man, I hope this isn't like Tommy Smokes causing the scene on the beach house. It was wrestling. So it's like, all right, we watched a match. We got some cheese fries. We got some Midway cheesesteak. We got a friggin' waffles and ice cream. It was a full boardwalk day. We even did the Ferris wheel. Me and Lady Fox. We said, let's get on the Ferris wheel.
Oh, a couple kids having some good old-fashioned fun. That's like a Steve Rogers kind of thing. You take Peggy up on the Ferris wheel right there. Take your dame to the Ferris wheel, right?
Oh, that's I don't think it was $14 in Steve Rogers' day. When they told me $14 for the Ferris wheel, I was like, all right, but like, what?
Is that unlimited Ferris wheel rides for like the summer, or at least the day?
Two loops.
Yeah, $14. I mean, so I mean the Ferris wheel's about to die, is what they're saying, because they're not going to be able to keep that pricing up. I have to say too, I don't know if I mentioned this on the pod. I said it somewhere recently, but I've only had the waffles and ice cream once. For people that don't know, they like make a legit fresh Belgian waffle in like a Belgian waffle maker. And I don't think they go crazy. It's just like regular vanilla. It is the most dopamine my brain has ever unleashed was eating that contraption. Those two things together go so perfectly. And it's a little messy if you don't eat it quick and whatever. But man, it is 10 out of 10 must have if you're going to go. So Midway steak, waffle and ice cream, must haves.
And you know, it was great. It was the first time Lady Fox was getting waffles and ice cream on the Jersey Shore boardwalk. So she sees they put the giant Belgian waffle on the bottom, and then they start putting scoops of vanilla on top. She's like, that thing is massive. Didn't realize there was another Belgian waffle going on top.
Oh, wait.
They put that on there and her jaw dropped. She was like, oh my, it was like UFC reaction. What just happened? Powdered sugar on top of that. Oh, so good.
That's no moon, Lady Fox. That
exactly. That's a fucking waffle sandwich. They do either, you could do vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or you could do the Neapolitan. I'm just a vanilla guy. I'm not opposed to strawberry, and I like the Neapolitan, but when it comes to waffles and ice cream, keep it plain. Give me vanilla.
I'm a vanilla guy too. I will say this too, but like there's times where like the Neapolitan just shows up in the freezer. I'm like, come on. And then I'm like, you know what? I kind of like having my little choices here. Like, I'm a vanilla guy first and foremost, but it is nice, especially like the strawberry. All-time great Simpsons line too, where I think they keep they have the 3 Neapolitan, and I think it's only one of the flavors in, and there's still like the chocolate and the strawberry. And then he goes to the next carton, same thing, all the vanilla's gone. He goes, Marge, we need more Neapolitan ice cream. It's like, no, just get vanilla, you idiot.
I was thinking for this office, there's a much bigger walls in here, so I'm gonna be able to put some more stuff on the walls. I was like, I think I want like a Simpsons print of some sort, some kind of cool, like, you know, not a generic one, but something like Springfield in the background, or maybe a more obscure building, or I don't know. I was thinking Simpsons and Family Guy. It'd be cool to get two little prints. Some of my favorite shows growing up.
There's a great picture I have over here. It's a poster, though. It's a big boy. It's 24 by 36. I had it in college, and then I bought it again afterwards because it was destroyed from the years. And it's like probably the first 12 seasons or so, when it's every character that has appeared. So, and we would just be like, find Mr. Burns. And he'd just be like, fucking, you know, you and a couple of your buddies still hung over. It's always a good time. But yeah, good. That's something that deserves a good, you know what, Bob? Don't put a pin in that. I'm going to get that. That's going to be my house.
Okay.
I'm getting you a Simpson something or other. If anybody has any good suggestions, send them over to me. I'd love to hear them or see them. You know, tell me, you know, send me the link, whatever. But I am going to do that for you as a housewarming gift. So live on the pod.
I love that. Honestly, it's like having like a master pick out your samurai sword. Like,
yes.
I trust you more than I trust myself. Yeah. And shout out to all the basement boys and girls I met at Martell's as well. So many people came up to me and said, love the basement podcast, love the nerd news, love the fucking recaps. Got a ton of basement boys and girls, even coming up to my brother talking about the episodes he did and whatnot. So shout out to all the listeners that were there. And now let's get into some nerd news, the stuff the listeners are actually here for. Starting with, what is the story? I don't even know if this is true. I don't know if this is false. I don't know if this is rumors, but if it is true, it's massive, massive news. Apparently there was a fight on set of Avengers Doomsday. I don't know what kind of fight this was. Sounds like more of a verbal altercation more than fisticuffs, but we don't know who it was between. We know it was two big outspoken A-list actors. I believe someone went on Christian Harloff's podcast and talked about this. Christian Harloff, great guy. I've met him before. Absolute pioneer in the nerd space. I trust Christian Harloff. I don't know the guy that said this on his podcast, but I kind of think if Harloff is having him on, maybe he trusts him. Everyone's speculating who this could be about. A lot of people are saying maybe it's between Letitia Wright and a more, how do I say this without getting too political? Letitia Wright has some political views that appear to oppose the views of someone like a Mark Ruffalo, a Brie Larson, you know, these characters. So a lot of people are saying, could it get political? Could it be just a movie star thing? Movie stars being movie stars. But now they're saying they're spending extra millions to do reshoots where these two characters don't have to be in the same room.
Wow. So I didn't hear the reshoot stuff. I heard of the fight. I was really hoping for fisticuffs, because then there's a chance the video exists. And when that video drops, that's when we get a little bit of content gold. And let me tell you, if that video ever drops, I can tell you who broke up the fight between those two A-list actors. The man formerly known as K, Jonathan Majors. Everyone, be calm.
Are you taking your vitamins and saying your prayers as well? I don't know who could have been between. I'm thinking in my mind, like, who could be the biggest? What would be the, oh my God, this is the most insane thing? And I said to KFC, who made a 1 Minute Man on this, could it be between like Pedro Pascal and Robert Downey Jr.? That would make people's brains like explode. Could it be the two people that everyone have wanted to see on screen together? Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire. If they're even in this movie, we don't know. Because you imagine, it's been years of like, oh, could you imagine we could see the Fox universe mesh with Tobey Maguire and everything like that, and then they get on set, start fighting? I don't know.
Old Professor X, new Professor X, like you're dealing with guys who play the same character in different timelines.
Oh, that'd be great if it was fucking Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, just old fucking friends. They're like, ah, fuck you. No, I like them being friends.
Yeah, that would be great too. So there's a lot of ways this can go. I don't know if I want it to be like in faction, like two X-Men battling each other, or two of the Avengers fighting. I do feel like Ruffalo's involved somehow, just complete, utter blind guess. I just feel like Ruffalo's in there. I just feel like he's in the mix. He's probably a little I mean, he has to hear the frustrations people are having about the Hulk these days, right?
Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah. Is he a guy that's in the Marvel conversations, though? Because the way he spoiled Infinity War, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you have to be so like out there to not know that you couldn't say that, dude.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Actually.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. And other Marvel news, Kumail Nanjiani went on record and said that he signed on for 6 movies and a video game at the time of his casting for Eternals, which is crazy. Like, if that's true, the 6 movies I could see, or maybe they thought he would make cameos here and there because he was like the movie star of the Eternals. You kind of could have put him in different things as cameos. The video game thing has my mind racing, where I'm like, what do you mean? They don't really do Marvel video games like that. They sometimes do a Lego game, but the Marvel characters don't usually voice their characters, I don't think. So the video game part kind of made me go, I don't know what that could have been about, but kind of brutal. The quote, he was just like, yeah, I thought this was going to be my life for the next 10 years. He's like, I thought every year I was going to film a Marvel movie, and then I could kind of do my own stuff in between. And now he's just fucking Will Smith in the Fresh Prince house looking around like, where'd everyone go? They don't want me?
So I don't know if this timeline of this, when he was negotiating all this stuff, lines up. But do you remember when Barstool, around the pandemic, when we were making a lot of our hirings, and it was different than the hirings from when me and you got hired way back when, and even I think the way things have gone now. And I think Barstool's strategy was in a different point, very much like Disney, right? Now, I'm not saying, you know, it was getting approached where we were thinking video games and, you know, crazy
We were going to hire KUMAIL, and he had to sign the instead.
But I do think, like, people who were the decision makers were in a different line of thinking about what they were going to do next. And clearly that was a temporary thing, and things have changed now. So 6 movies, like he had a lot of Easter eggs, and the fact he was an actor, I thought they were going to do some pretty cool stuff with him. But it's also like they had to be also like, there's a chance this Eternal is going to be over everyone's head, or it's going to suck and people are going to hate it, or we're not even going to reference anything from the movie. Literally, the thing in the Indian Ocean, everyone was losing their mind about, you know?
For years.
If they're not even letting the giant fucking celestial that was being born, they're not going to reference that. They're not going to, you know, sprinkle cool in it also. I don't know. It is what it is. It's just another reminder of like how fucking lost they were during those dark days.
Yeah. I think the only person that gave the Eternals like a shout out or cameo is James Gunn in the holiday special. You could see one of the like Kingo movie posters.
Yes, and that's right.
But I know he's also like good friends with KUMAIL, where it's like he might be putting him in the DCU now. People are saying, could he be Booster Gold? Could he be this character? Could he be that character? He's been at like random things with James Gunn and Peter Safran. So I don't know. He might be like almost a James Gunn type, where he's like, I got scorned by Marvel. Fuck him. I'm going over to DC.
And that kind of, again, it mirrors wrestling. It's like there were people who felt that WWE wasn't using them right. Obviously, there are plenty of people who were scorned by WCW over the years, but that's where it flips. And then familiar face, hey, we'll give you a buttload of money, and now you have a character in this huge movie universe. So
look at Clem. He's still got the wrestling on the brain.
I haven't even been home the last few days, and I'm still just cooking in my. I'm going to be watching some more Stone Cold Steve Austin podcasts when it's all said.
Hell yeah. No pun intended.
Give me a hell yeah.
And speaking of video games involving superheroes, we're getting a new Lego Batman video game that looks fucking awesome. We're talking open world, an open world bigger than the Arkham games, apparently, which is insane. And for the first time ever, they're actually doing moments from the Batman movie franchise in this. So they made, I want to say 2, maybe 3, like 2 Lego Batman games, and then like a Lego Supervillains game. But it was all their own storyline. They came up with a storyline for the game. It was fun. It was good. I enjoyed them as a kid. This is going to bring me back where we're talking about a cohesive storyline that takes the greatest hits of the movies, where it looks like we're getting some stuff from the Keaton Batman. We're getting a ton of stuff from the Dark Knight trilogy. We're even getting some Pattinson Batman stuff, which I think is funny. I wrote the blog about it, and I said, I think you almost have to do it like this for Batman, where you do a greatest hits and scrapbook version of it, because I don't know if you could Legoify and PGify every scene in the Dark Knight trilogy and the Pattinson movie. Where are we going to put a fucking bomb strapped on a Lego's head? Are we going to do Joker holding people hostage? Like, you just have to cut some of that stuff. So I understand why they're doing it like this, but it's kind of cool. Like, it looks like they did the Penguin scene from the Batman, where his car flips and then Batman walks up and it's the awesome upside down shot and the flames and everything. But it looks like Danny DeVito's Penguin. So it's like such a cool flip on things. The fact that there's going to be difficulty settings in a Lego game for the first time. There's going to be like 100 different bat suits to use. There's going to be civilians in the open world, which people always complained about in the Arkham games. It was open world, but there was not a single civilian on the streets.
Really?
So it was like, it was a weird, and they explained it of you know, it's Arkham City now. They've taken over the city. Everyone had to flee or whatever, be in hiding. This just looks awesome to me. This is like my prayers have been answered.
As soon as I saw that, I said, you were like the Hulk. Like, I was made for this. Like, that was you to play. And you're like, I finally can put Adam West with, you know, Heath Ledger's Batman, as I've been dreaming since I was 7 years old, which is hilarious to have. But it's like, hey, Bob, go for it. This fucking was made for you right here.
I know. I said it looks like the greatest video game since Lego Star Wars. It's just Lego games at this point for me. I'm like, oh my God, there goes the next, you know, month of my life when that comes out. Like, don't text, don't call. I'll be playing Lego Batman.
At any given point. I mean, that'll just be, instead of like you streaming on Barstool Game Time, we're just gonna just put like a video camera on your shoulder, like a GoPro, because you'll just be playing it the whole time.
It'll be a Clemmer stream. We'll stream me sleeping. We'll stream me waking up. Yeah. Speaking of Batman and the Batman 2, Colin Farrell's Penguin. Colin Farrell says he has a very small role. He's about to read the script, but from what he understands, he only has a couple scenes, but he's like, I'm down to do anything. If Matt Reeves says jump, I say how high. I'm not shocked by this. I didn't think he would be like the main villain or anything. I pretty much expect him to have the same level role he had in the first one. Couple scenes, meaningful scenes. He gets to, you know, be as fucking cool as the Penguin is. Probably gets a couple laughs in. The scenes in The Batman where he's waddling and he's like, what, you don't speak Spanish? Like, that shit is so good. And then other Batman 2 news. This was big. Greg Fraser, the cinematographer, will not be returning for the sequel. Everyone thought it was going to be, he has to decide between Dune 3 and The Batman 2. And it just came out he's not doing Dune 3, so everyone just assumed, okay, that means he's doing Batman 2. Nuh-uh. He's doing Sam Mendes's 4 Beatles movies. Where again, I felt like this was like made for me. I was being pulled apart by this news item. And I'm okay with it. As much as I thought he crushed it on the Batman, I said to Ken Jack, Batman's silhouette does so much of the heavy lifting in terms of cinematography. It's so cool. Just Batman backlit or Batman frontlit. Like, it looks cool 24/7. He's going to look awesome. I think the Beatles movies need him more than the Batman does. The Beatles movies, I don't know what to expect. And quite frankly, I'm a little worried about. I trust Sam Mendes. I love Sam Mendes movies. But like, you're making 4 movies in 1 year. And I don't even know what to think about them right now. The Batman 2, I trust.
If you're, I don't know, the cinematography market, you know, or who's in it and who your competitors are, or what this guy's rap sheet's like. Obviously, he has some big things on there considering the project he could be a part of. But it's like franchise sequel, 4-part movie that could be an absolute smash because it's about like the biggest band of all time. I understand trying to go something that's a little more fresh, even if you're doing 4 fucking movies at once.
Yeah.
The whole creative aspect of things. And like you said, Batman kind of holds himself. Dune already has that stuff established. Kind of go for the little side project about the Beatles, a little band you might have heard of, right? I understand that 100%. So good for him. May it all work out. And the fact, when you were saying he didn't go to either, I was like, so is this guy just, waiting for a call? That when you said that, I was like, all right, that's the kind of movie or franchise you can put the other 2 on the side for. Hell,
it could be a passion thing too. Yeah, what if he's a massive Beatles fan? It's like, I already did Batman and I knocked it out of the park. Everyone still to this day is tweeting on Twitter. Every day I see, shots from the Batman that people are just like, oh, this is the best. So it's like, I don't know. He did it. He crushed it. He did Dune. He crushed it. Yeah, try a fucking wild project that literally nobody knows what to expect. And maybe if it's what people like Beatles fans want, I hope the Ringo movie looks completely different than the Paul movie. I hope they stylize him in a way that matches the Beatles' personalities. And speaking of the Beatles, spending a weekend at my mom's, a 55 and up community, even went to the pool with my mom, like the community pool. This fucking Beatles tattoo is an old person magnet. The amount of people that came over to take pictures would be like, how old are you? I'm like 27. They're like, he's 27, but he understands, he respects, he appreciates it. It was so funny, like over and over and over again. Old people, they just love the Beatles tattoo. And I love talking to them about the Beatles.
You gave so many older people like faith in the younger generation now just by having that tattoo. It's incredible. I'm looking too. I saw Paul is going back on tour. And again, you never know when it's going to be someone's last tour. For, you know, if they just retire, maybe something worse, whatever. Maybe obviously Billy Joel, we've probably lost for at least a while, if not ever, on tour. And I'm looking here, I'm like, this might have to be a game time visit. I'm gonna have, but there's nowhere that's
Buffalo,
all that close.
I think might be the closest, right?
Buffalo, Pittsburgh, yeah. Like
I know. I was like,
there's nowhere
he's
close.
The cities he didn't hit last time.
Oh, like, is that it?
Just come back to MetLife, dude. You'll sell it out in a heartbeat. Like, come on. And I went just a couple of years ago. It was amazing. Like, blew me away. 3 hours. He's running around the stage. He's playing every instrument. Bruce Springsteen came out as a special guest. It was like everything you would want at a Paul McCartney show. It was amazing.
He's here. We're gonna have to figure out a way to go to Chicago in end of November. That's basically it. So that's the most likely place I'll end up being.
You can work that out. Yeah,
we can work it out. Yeah, we just gotta talk.
Get Ed in.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We're gonna see Ed. What do you think about Paul McCartney? Imagine if he fucking hated Paul McCartney. I don't know.
Break my heart.
He was always the worst Beatle in my mind. That would be so fun. If Eddie actually hated Paul McCartney, that's the funniest thing, because it would probably be for the dumbest reason, but you guys would be like, you know what? I know you have like a very certain reason for this. Maybe because he's like, vegan, right?
Wouldn't be a good downstairs neighbor. Yeah, maybe it would be the vegan thing. Yeah. And then the last thing I have on nerd news, unfortunately, we had some legends pass away between the last podcast and this podcast. First of which I want to bring up Terrence Stamp. Played General Zod in the original Superman movies, and then played Chancellor Valorum in The Phantom Menace, and famously never even got to meet Natalie Portman. He was like, we were in the same movie, never even got to meet her. And then we also, today, I saw lost Jerry Adler, a.k.a. Hesh from The Sopranos. A great character. Absolutely love Hesh. Such a good side character, not only in The Sopranos, just in TV history. I feel like Hesh is such a good. He doesn't have a lot of scene. Like, he's not like, obviously, he's not like Furio even, but it's just Hesh. He's Hesh. Everyone knows Hesh. So 2 legends.
When I saw that one today, I was like, damn, that hurts. And like you said, Hesh is Hesh. Like, it's like you show a Sopranos guy and you're like, Paulie is fucking Paulie Walnuts. But Hesh was like, I don't even know if tertiary is even the word for Hesh. He might even be like a step below that. But he was so important. And I feel like the way Tony treated Hesh was a mirror of where he was at that time, where if he was good to Hesh, he was in a good place. But when he was bad to Hesh, Tony is like, come on, Tone, don't do this to old Hesh.
It breaks your heart. Yeah, you're like, it's fucking Hesh, dude. What are you doing? Like, towards the end, I think when he starts getting like a darker, maybe season 5, he starts being such a douchebag to Hesh. And you're like, what the fuck? Hesh is the perfect, like, understated character. You know, he didn't like Paulie Walnuts is the opposite in the best way, where it's like he's nothing about Paulie Walnuts is fucking understated. But Hesh is more subtle and like perfectly played. And 96, that's a hell of a life for Jerry Adler as well.
Hell of a life. And absolute iconic. I think every single Sopranos character too, I hope, include him, every Sopranos actor, got every ounce of like adulation for their roles. Like, you still have Bacala is front row Knicks playoff game, despite, you know, all these other A-listers coming out of the woodwork to get next to Chalamet and Spike and everyone else. So I'm happy to hear that. I hope Hesh was taken care of very fondly by everyone in the community.
I bet he was. They seem like a pretty tight-knit family to this day. Like, even just the cast, you're always seeing them post about each other on Instagram, commenting on each other's Instagram and stuff. Shout out Bacala too. He's in this season of Dexter, which I know I've been praising every week. I sound like a broken record, but he just randomly showed up in Dexter. I was like, oh shit. Like, what a cool, like, another iconic show to check off the list. I know it's like the Dexter reboot or whatever, but it's still Dexter. It's fucking Michael C. Hall and everything, you know? I'm going to be watching Dexter right after we record this podcast. New episodes every Sunday. It's become a show where, like, we cannot wait for Sundays. It's been so good. I'm putting this season up with the best seasons of Dexter too.
I can't believe they rediscovered it, man. Good for them.
That's so. Yes, and it's the original creator and stuff. It's not like they like took a new team and they figured it out. It's like the OG guy who's like, I know how to do Dexter.
I wish, like, I'm trying to think of a franchise that Game of Thrones, obviously. Like, House of the Dragon didn't hit that level, unfortunately. But like an old franchise that, you know, was great, took a break. Obviously, people will say Breaking Bad and Saul wasn't for me. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for one of those. I'm waiting for one of those myself. I heard The Pitt's awesome. I'm diving into The Pit tonight.
Oh yeah, I recommended that to my mom without even having seen it. this weekend because but she's been watching like The Recruit and all these like medical dramas. She loves a hospital show.
Oh,
so
it's perfect.
Probably watch The Pit. I was like, everyone's praising The Pit. I think there's a character named Robbie, so you'd be like, my Robbie.
Rob. Oh, Rob.
There's like, let me show this picture. This is so funny. We had shout out to this guy Bryce Langell came to the show, photographer. Actually, he does like a ton of concert photography. Hit me up and was like, "Hey, can I come shoot the show?" I was like, "Absolutely, dude. Like, we're never gonna say no to a photographer that wants to come take some pictures." And my mom spotted him with the camera mid-show and was like, "When my other son comes up and plays the drum, you're gonna take a picture of me in front of them." So, in one of the pictures, just Mama Fox with us on stage. Just adorable. She's the proudest person in the world. She wore, I had like for my first Barstool video ever, when Caitlin Chukagian was like beating me up and choking me out and kicking me. I had a bunch of shirts made for me, Riggs, and Glennie that said, "Why not?" And she found one of those shirts and like cut it up. She said 80s style, like tassels and everything. And I was just like, everyone was running up to, "Are you Robbie's mom?" And like, it was cool to see Stoolies interact with her, knowing who she is from the stories and everything. And she's just the proudest mom you could imagine. You know, "That's my son," at the community pool. "Oh, have you heard of Barstool Sports? Do you know the pizza guy? He works for the pizza guy."
He works for the pizza guy. My Rob, that's my Rob. I love him so much. The funny thing is that picture you just showed of your mom, I've met her a couple times and, you know, we've chatted. However, seeing her at the Jersey Shore, that is someone in their element, folks. In their element.
Yeah.
There's a glow to her that I've never seen anywhere else. And she is glowing in that picture.
You're looking at Billy Joel at the Garden there. Before we get on to Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 1, let's tell everyone about DraftKings. We absolutely love DraftKings. I actually had a great weekend on DraftKings. UFC China. How about that? So the card started at like 3 in the morning.
China?
Main card started at 6 a.m. I set an alarm. Thinking I was going to wake up. I set an alarm for 6 p.m. So I didn't wake up until like the co-main event. I had to go back and watch everything. But I had a great weekend on DraftKings. And DraftKings isn't only a sports book, it's a casino. And it's ranked the #1 online casino experience in the world. They've got everything you've been searching for. Thousands of exciting games, huge jackpots, exclusive offers, and more. I've been hearing that the Beach House gang has been loving the DraftKings casino. Once you get into Jersey, you got the casino unlocked on the app and everything. And new players can get 10-day welcome offer, 500 spins on Huff and More Puff. Sorry, when you play just $5 to start. So play $5 to start on Huff and More Puff, and you'll get 500 spins with a 10-day welcome offer. Download the DraftKings Casino app, sign up with code BASEMENT, BASEMENT, and spin your favorite slots. The crown is yours. We love DraftKings, the best in the business, the easiest app to use, and the most fun. Absolutely the most fun. The #1 online casino experience out there.
I was in Saratoga this weekend. It was the DraftKings Traverse State because they now have DraftKings in the front of it. It's a DraftKings town, and we know how much we love Saratoga. Absolutely perfect. Like, you know, you're going to see this at your wedding. We have like your home friend and then your work friend, and they just hit it off and they become friends. That's what it's like seeing DraftKings up in my beloved Saratoga. It was perfect.
Absolutely.
And Portnoy is like the baby of it now.
Did you go up there for the horse races?
No. So when I was now 22 years ago, we did our first draft Travers Weekend because I have a lot of friends up there. So every weekend, Travers Weekend is our draft. And then we would hit Travers at 7 in the morning, drink our faces off, and then, whatever. Now we stay at home. We play with football. We have some drinks, and we watch Travers from TV. We watched the show with all the boys and Megan making money. It was a great time. But yeah, I am in Travers every weekend. I do not go to the Travers races anymore. It's way too much of a.
Did you have the draft this weekend though?
Yes, had the draft this weekend. Guaranteed championship.
Nice.
What do you think of that, Bob?
Guaranteed championship. Who was your first pick?
Well, it was a keeper league. Christian McCaffrey,
keeper
Lamar
league.
Jackson, and then first round pick was Ladd McConkey. So we're feeling pretty good about it right now. Okay. No Commanders, unfortunately, but if there's any that end up on waivers, I'll dabble with them.
Hey, week 1 basement bowl. Commanders
Basement bowl. Not ready for that. I'm not ready for that.
All right, let's get into Peacemaker Season 2 premiere. Again, a show that we have really been like itching for, but came out of nowhere. Like, I remember Superman coming out and being like, oh shit, Peacemaker's right around the corner, and being like, I guess it's August. It's not really right around the corner. No, it was right around the corner, because out of nowhere, we had Peacemaker. We knew going in, a couple people said, pay good attention to the previously on. Like, don't skip the previously on. So I had a feeling that some things were going to be retconned. I actually thought the previously on was going to be just like James Gunn doing almost the Michael Pena Ant-Man thing, where he's like, let me explain what we're retconning and what we're not. And he's like crossing, almost Professor Nate, crossing things out on a whiteboard. It was a little different than that, but we did get the retcons we were looking for. It was, I thought it was cool that they like bookmarked it with Peacemaker talking to kids, kid being like, do you have an origin story? And then it's like previously on the DCU. And the big retcon is you hear Justice Gang said instead of Justice League, and then you actually see the Justice Gang instead of the Justice League. And the scene where he's walking out, I think he's carrying Harcourt, and originally it was the fish fucker scene with Aquaman. Now it's a puke freak scene with the Green Lantern, and it's Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. You see just shadowy figures of Superman and Supergirl. It did exactly what it needed to do, and James Gunn said he would love to one day go back and Lucas the whole season. He's like, I want to do that Lucas shit. We just don't have the money for it yet.
I love that. I didn't hear that quite. I love that Lucasing is a verb. I love that.
And it's like in this scenario, would this be the only time Lucasing a completely beloved property would be like welcomed by the fans? They'd be like, yeah, fucking do it.
I will say that would not have hit as hard. When he's dropped that to the actual Justice League, that hit like an anvil.
I know
it hit a little less now, so I was like, all right, and it's like, oh, well, these were some of my favorite people from the Superman movie, so I'm more than fine with that. So I'm happy for the people that didn't watch. Like, I would have skipped if I hadn't known. And I think you mentioned it on here, and I think we had tweeted something that like you should watch the previously on. For the people that missed it, like, go check it out. And I don't think there's really anything else major, but it is something that, again, they're kind of recreating this universe on the fly right now.
Yeah. I thought that was super cool. And then I loved that they obviously had to redo the dance sequence because it had characters that passed away and whatnot, but they kept such the original spirit of it. New song, Foxy Shazam, still keeping the same artist. I love the new song. It's a little different. It's like the original is, of course, going to be my favorite because we had more time to like sit with that and love it and grow to love it. But I loved this. My favorite part of the intro is Peacemaker. Eagly does a little moonwalk or something. And when it hit that, I fucking went wild for it. I loved it.
When I saw it, I go, did he just do that? Like, acting like a computer graphics eagle that just did it. I'm such a goddamn moron. My notes on this was good dance, but it's not going to match season one. I think, though, however, we will grow to like it more than we did just after one. I think season one was so wild. And then I think we started loving it even more, even though we loved it, as more to start. I do think this one, I don't think, and then I read somewhere, I think James Gunn said, we know we can't top season one. So we're just going to play it safe. We're just going to have it just be the same kind of genre, like you said. And, I'm happy. You happy?
Oh, I'm happy with it, of course.
So that's all I can add. Like, don't spend too much of your creative time trying to top something that honestly probably can't be topped. Either that or just keep the fucking same song and maybe change some of the moves and characters up. I'm fine with that. But at the same point, that lives in one, and now we get to go forward with two and forward. Which is crazy. It's such a good opening that we would have a conversation about it. That's how good
I know. Yeah. And the seriousness of everyone's face during it really cracks me up. They're so serious. And I'm sure in their head, they probably had to film that 100 times, like to get the choreography right. They're probably actually
oh God, yeah, it's true.
This is fucking, sometimes if we're filming a Pup Punk music video back in the day with Buddha Ben, he wanted us to do a 60th take when we thought the 59th was okay. We would start getting these fucking angry faces on, and you watching the video and you're like, all right, he annoyed us till he got the performance he needed out of us because we were legitimately angry in that music video. Maybe they were doing that to give them the serious faces. I don't know.
Imagine if news came out that a big actor turned down a role in the show because he didn't want to do the dance scene and knew that was gonna piss them off.
John Turturro would do that with all the reasons he gave for turning down the Penguin. Nah, they wanted me to dance. No. I also liked that talking about it hit harder, of course, with him talking to the Justice League in season one. But if you're going to use David Cornsweet at any point in this season, and I think there's a real chance they will use him as even just a funny gag in the finale, hey, why'd you say all that stuff about me on TV, man? A quick scene like that. you gotta save it. You can't put that in the previously on, even just for the cheap pop, where it's like, yeah, give us Guy Gardner there, give us Hawk Girl, and then save Corn Sweat. And I'm saying, I think we're getting Corn Sweat. I think that's on the table. Why wouldn't he? They were filming it at the same time. They were probably around the same sound studios. They had John Cena fucking pop up in Superman. Why not?
So you think they got the S-bomb and they're just waiting?
I think they got the S-bomb. I think that's part of the reason why they wouldn't send out the final 3 episodes with the screeners for like the journalists that got them.
Yeah, I say, would you say finale again? Kind of like, we got with Justice League.
Yeah,
I'm not saying end of the finale, but some point for the finale. Yeah, me too. Unless they're gonna become gonna go with the Thrones penultimate angle with all their seasons.
Yeah, true. The finale last year, I remember being fucking incredible. Like the culmination of the alien invasion stuff. And that was interesting too about the previously on. You could kind of get a vibe for where the season's going because they pretty much didn't mention the alien invasion in the previously on. It was all about his upbringing, his father, and even the flashback with his brother. So you could tell, like, okay, we're going back into the family stuff. Where even in this season, where right off the bat, the intro where Eagly is trying to wake him up and he just lets Eagly like fly around in the pocket universe type thing. I know it's not a pocket universe, but it's like that. It's like calling the fucking fungi in Last of Us zombies. I'll probably watch it a couple times this season. Getting the introduction to like, okay, we're gonna do multiverse. His dad is alive in this Monsters Inc. door, but it's going to be grounded and it's going to be emotional and it's going to be heavy. Like, I like that balance where it's not just, we have a million Deadpools, which I was fine with in Deadpool, but we got that in Deadpool.
And listen, we talked about this on the previous pod, talking Peacemaker. We all have multiverse fatigue. We have it because of Marvel mostly, and because they fucking fumbled it so goddamn badly. And honestly, there really hasn't been a lot of multiverse for the multiversal saga when you actually go back and do the numbers. It's just they kind of just bungled it. They probably said, all right, we need to take a break. And then like, shit, to get to where we need to go, we have to start bringing it back. So they're going to have that all figured out. And then I think a couple of the shows, Invincible obviously had some multiversal stuff. You gotta let Gunn have his multiverse stuff because I think it's going to work well with this season and because he's building a universe as well. I'm fine with it. I also was thinking Monsters Inc. door. I'm so happy you said that because that was exactly him. I was looking. If James Gunn can put somewhere deep where Disney can't even sue him with the little flower door, I will be so happy if we get Boo's door. By the way,
that's a good cameo.
Boo might be the cutest character in movie history. Like
Boo's
pound
up
for
there.
pound, Boo is
For
very
sure.
high.
In the Halloween
Mama Coco's up there too, actually. What'd you say?
Yeah, I said in the Halloween costume.
The
monster costume.
That's where she really thrives. When I think cute Boo, it's her in the Halloween costume.
That would be even a funny joke for Peacemaker to make, honestly. With the amount of pop culture references where he's like, what is this fucking Monsters Inc. room? Like, yelling at her. Even Vigilante could make a joke about that if he ever gets to see it.
And you touched on the stuff with the alien stuff. And I was going to save this at the end, the note, but I mean, it could go whenever. I feel like this story is going to be so much better because it's going to be less weird. Like the alien stuff, it was a little like, all right, I'm like butterflies, right? It was like weird caterpillar kind of shit. I didn't really enjoy that part of it. I probably said it on the pod. It wasn't like I hated it, but it was just not my cup of tea. And then I'm like, this stuff, what we're dealing with, and I think the most interesting side of Peacemaker is his family dynamic and the way that they're going with them. Like, oh, this is going to be fucking really fun. I'm going to make this prediction right now too, Bob. I was saying about it this morning. This is Peacemaker season 2 will be the most enjoyable piece of James Gunn content in the DCU. That's what I think is going to happen.
Wow.
He makes.
And he didn't direct every episode. He directed, I think, the final 3 or maybe like 2 of the final 3. And he said those episodes are probably his favorite thing he ever did. Wow. So like he might be aligned with you in that. Like in terms of, I think these are like his absolute favorite when it comes to Guardians movies, TV shows, anything. He's like, the final episodes of Peacemaker are the greatest thing I've ever done.
Because again,
like, holy shit, what a way to set that up, James Gunn. He also, let's temper our expectations, that The Flash was one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. He is the head of DC still. We got to keep that in mind. But I do trust him. Weirdly, I trust him when it comes to this.
Well, you have to trust the Gun on everything at this point. So if he's going to say that, we're going to. Now, it's like, do you really want to have that high of a bar? I'll let him worry about that. But again, as a Guardians 2 guy who like cannot understand anyone who likes 1 or 3 more, I feel like this is just my kind of thing, and it might just be me that sees it this way, but that's how I'm feeling, and apparently that's how James Gunn. I'm putting words in fucking his mouth. I can't believe this.
I was thinking about Guardians 2 pretty recently. I don't think I mentioned it on the pod, but someone said like James Gunn is able to deliver such good like gut punches, and I think there's no better gut punch in maybe the entire MCU than Kurt Russell revealing that he was the one that put the cancer in Peter Quill's mom. That is like, I could get chills talking about that in a bad way, where it was just like the first time I heard that, it takes the fucking wind out of your sails and such a like, oh my God, you better fucking kill this planet immediately.
Yep. Everything he does, you're like, well, why would he give up this and that? And then you just go up that gut punch. That thing's not going away. I
mean, similar to the Iron Man one. He killed my mom.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the Yondu thing too, because then you're just like,
the Yondu, that too. The Yondu thing too is fucking, that's a gut punch. There's the gut punch in Guardians 3 when Rocket is a baby and he just says, hurts. It's like, oh no, don't do that to me, Jimmy.
He's going to get us in this series, isn't he?
We are Groot in the first one. Like, he's able to deliver a gut punch and everything. It's crazy.
He got us good with We Are Groot.
He got us Groot in the first one. I didn't know how to handle it. I was like 14. I was like, I got to cry in front of my friends right now. Very funny audition scene pretty early on. It goes right after the intro. It does like six months later. And he's going to audition for the Justice Gang in front of Maxwell Lord as well, played by Sean Gunn, who I love. He's so good. And they're just doing like kind of a classic gag of they think they're turning their mic off and he could hear everything they're saying behind the glass. And it's every 2 seconds. It's, should we call you Peacemaker or Chris Smith? It's like, either one's fine. They're like, mark that down as indecisive. Like, just like everything he says is a negative, and they're just talking shit on him. And then the ending where they're like, this has been on the whole time. And the bunny had just run out of the room. And they're like, did you say the camel toe thing about the bunny? He's like, I must have said it 30 times. I saw an interview with Sean Gunn where he said that was an improv line. That line cracked me up. I thought that was maybe the funniest line of the episode.
So that whole gag followed by then the call back to the girl leaving. And you're like, why did she leave it? Oh my God. That's why I'm like, I think our boy is cooking right now. And I feel like we're getting something special out of Jimmy here. That had me just roaring, the whole scene. And it just gets, then they start talking about pop. Like when you are at an interview and you are so fucking scared about everything and you're wondering what the people are thinking of you, and then to actually find out, or they're like care about you so little, they're talking about popcorn and stuff, right? It was great. You're talking about your asses? I can hear you guys talking about your asses.
And you almost like you feel for him as douchey a character as Peacemaker especially began as. When they cut to that chair and he left, there's part of me that was like, oh fuck, it sucks getting rejected. Like you feel that a little bit. And Kenjack had the criticism of this episode. He said, I liked it, I didn't love it, but he thought Peacemaker is way too nice throughout it. And like I could see that. I also wouldn't want to reset to just like the hard guy he was before he went through everything in season 1. But I think that they're striking a good balance right now. I'm okay with how nice he's been.
Yeah, I because again, I didn't rewatch this season. I did, thanks to you, Bob. I rewatched the previously on, but I was like, I feel like we did have like a marked change in him by the end of that episode when Hardcore goes down. So I was almost like, we were going to get this, and I could see him getting a little edgier maybe the next couple of episodes. But I kind of like, I'd be fine with this Peacemaker if this is just how it's going to be. I'm kind of like, how we had to get from where he was maybe into season 1 to now, we don't have time for that. We got to keep it moving. We have a whole universe that's going to kick off. I think you told me this is going to play a relatively big role in the future of the DCU, right? Wasn't that what
I think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting like Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. Apparently he's going to play a big vital role, and he's in a lot of this. So I think this is going to be like, we're gonna be looking back like, I can't believe Peacemaker was like such a integral part of everything.
Yeah.
Hell, people are saying, what if they introduce Batman in this? Like, we've reached a point where they're like, maybe they'll introduce the next Batman in the Peacemaker spinoff show. Like, what? And they do get pretty edgy after this because he's very dejected and he goes back to his place and they have a massive orgy. Just an absolutely massive dicks out, vaginas, boobs, bush, sex, everything you could imagine. Someone would need to swallow a camera for us to see part of their body that we didn't in this episode. Like, it was insane. And I kept thinking, what was the filming of that like? Because we heard the scenes in the brothels and House of the Dragon of Game of Thrones were like, yeah, we were like naked, sweating on each other for 13 hours. It was like, was that happening here with just John Cena trying to play this serious, like dejected, depressed role in the middle of all of it? I don't know, but I think you tweeted about this scene. Like, there's one scene that maybe James Gunn couldn't have got away with in Marvel.
Yep, that there was no chance the Disney censors were going to allow. I mean, honestly, I don't think 1 second of that scene could have been shown on Disney.
I mean, there was 15 dicks on frame at any time.
So my first note of the episode, I saw at the top of the screen, and I didn't see the TV MA or whatever the rating was. All I saw was smoking at the top. And my first note goes, why the hell is smoking the only thing we're being warned about? And I'm thinking, like, is Peacemaker getting soft in season 2? And then he took out the cocaine. And I said, all right.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
I guess,
for a rainy day, it said.
Yeah. I guess smoking, we're going to go a little harder than smoking. And then he did the line. And then we had the origin. I said, all right. I missed the TVMA, or they just held their, like, James Gunn's like, it's like Michael Jordan with the shoes. He's like, find me every game I wear the shoes because it's gonna be better for this to come out of nowhere. Because if I had seen, like, you know, sex and, you know, orgy scenes, I don't know what to put in for something like this on HBO, but I would have been completely like, because it hit you so, like, it surprised me so hard. I was like, and it just didn't stop. It just kept going for like 5 minutes straight. Yeah. And this, like, I'm like, is any kids coming out here? Like, I gotta make sure my kids aren't coming out because they'll just like wake up in the middle of the night and say, Dad, what are you watching? I'm like, get out of here. Like, oh, you're watching
Disturbed for Life.
Is this a comic book show with John Cena? This must be very family friendly. Get out of here.
Yeah. And in that scene, we get a little bit of Dye Beard with him on the phone with Vigilante, and they're trying to figure out what's happening. He's been hired by Rick Flag Sr. to check out what's happening with Peacemaker as well. Then he goes into the room. He goes back to the Monsters Inc. room, and then he goes and checks out what's happening in that other universe where his dad is alive. And his dad isn't the only one in his family that's also alive here. We see newspapers and things on the wall that say, like, the greatest trio. The trio does it again. Because his brother's alive and the three of them fight crime together. And it's such a well done sequence and episode from that point on, where we, the viewer, are with John Cena. Like, we know what he's been through. We know the trauma that he's been through with the dad, the just grief with his brother and the guilt that he's felt his whole life. And for them to just be reacting like, oh, what's going on? The fuck's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, buddy? And like him walking out of the room, and then like John Cena just breaks down crying. James Gunn had a quote about that I saw on Twitter as well, where he was like, yeah, I just mentioned to John Cena, like, I feel like if Keith walked out of the room, Chris might just break down. And he said, John Cena went, okay. And he just did it on the next take and was hysterically crying. And James Gunn said he was blown away at how much better John Cena has gotten as an actor since season 1. He's like, he just fucking did it and broke down and cried, and it was perfect.
Our boy Cena, there was that ranking. It was like a tweet that went viral. Where it was like,
oh yeah,
wrestling actors, and it was like Batista 1, Cena 2, and Rock was like not even close. And I was like,
yeah,
damn. But after this episode too, I'm like, Cena, say, you know, whatever. I know people are just gonna dunk on the Rock. Like, Cena is just doing this on his own, just crushing, and I'm amazed. And I also just saw an interview, and if I went on to, like, so I've seen a couple Cena like things that he's done, but there was one I don't know if you saw this one on the red carpet where the person asked him a question, and then he yells, "Let me ask you the question."
He flips it. I saw that this morning.
Is that new? Is that new, or is that old?
New, brand new. No, that was new. Yeah,
this could be from 20 years ago, John Cena, because it just sounds like this is who he's always been, and he's doesn't stop. So that's
the question was like, if you could talk to anyone in history and ask him a question, like, what would you do? And he just flips it on the interviewer, and he was like, how far did you fly here to be here on this red carpet? He's like, he flew from Abu Dhabi, I think he said. He's like, it was a 10-hour flight then, 10 hours, and you've been waiting in the sun. Why do you do what you do? And the reporter's like, sounds very like genuine and passionate. It's like, I fucking love movies. Like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else rather than right here talking to you. And John Cena, just suave as ever, is like, that's the question I would want to ask anyone in the world. So thank you for that. And it's like, it almost seems phony, but it's not. Like, if you watch me telling that story, I'm sure people are rolling their eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure. If you watch the clip, I swear he's genuine about it. Like, John Cena's got a smile on his face where he's like, that's what I wanted out of this interaction.
It's like he's like he's like a karma farmer on Made Me Smile on Reddit. Like he knows he's gonna go up, and everything he does, it's like he does it. Cameras, no cameras, it doesn't matter. It's just like there's people in this world like John Cena. You fucking have faith. I had to ask a question in this. So first off, the Cena thing with the family. How about Roy from The Office being likable? That was nice.
I know. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything where he's likable. Anything. And I can't off the top of my head remember other than The Office, but I feel like he's just always that guy. He comes up and you're like, I'm ready to hate this motherfucker. And then in this, you're like, oh damn. But also perfect casting because the Peacemaker family, of course, they got to be a little douchey. Like Chris Smith, he was not a great guy in season 1, but it was like perfect casting. When I saw him roll up, I was like, wow. And I didn't know he was going to be playing Keith. Maybe he was in the trailer or something, but like I didn't register that in my mind before I watched episode 1.
Yeah, if he was in the first one, I completely forgot it. So he would. And then remember. So Roy in The Office again. Pam does some shitty stuff, but Roy is pretty shitty as well.
The worst.
And there are some times where you do start to like Roy, but you're never just to be like a Roy fan. No one's a fucking Roy fan.
No.
Then he's in Rebel Ridge, which if I remember correctly,
yes.
He ended up being likable because I remember there's one guy who's like a little more likable than you would thought. I can't remember, but didn't leave the movie being like Roy from The Office. We're cool now. I'll tell you. I like Roy from The Office as of right now.
I like him in this too. Yeah,
we're on the right page.
He's likable, yeah.
And it's like there's like the ball busting and like they're manly men, but it's also like I love you too, bro. And they still have that love. And I'm like, all right, I can dig this character, so I'm very excited to see how that all goes. However, they were talking about it because they said they thought Peacemaker was out. What is Bloodraven? Is this a Superman city?
Bloodhaven. That's it's a DC city that like Nightwing really operates out of mainly. Like Nightwing, Catwoman goes over there a lot. It's across the bridge from Gotham actually, which we also know from Superman when people were evacuating. Like Gotham is not too far away from Metropolis, so they're starting to carve out this little East Coast corner for sure. Yeah, it's like Bloodhaven's almost like it feels like it is Gotham, but maybe like a little safer because there's like all the crazy, lunatics are at Arkham and Gotham.
That's true. Well, I was going to use a Sim City reference, which I then realized I'm old and shouldn't do that. So The Sims, I feel like The Sims is still in people's now it's older game, but I feel like everyone had a Sims time of their life. We're unlocking new cities in The Sims right
now.
You're like, yes. Oh, I'd love to get a house there, but we haven't got enough XP or something. Bloodhaven is can be purchased. Basically, it's in the
I almost feel like it's like the Newark to Gotham's New York.
Okay, well said. And you had mentioned
smaller version,
Bloodhaven. Yeah, when we were talking maybe Penguin, we were talking about it. So it's like I've heard that before, and I know Nightwing's somehow involved. I'm not really sure who Nightwing is, so I'm just gonna figure that out as I go.
Best, he's Dick Grayson.
Is he Robin though? You told me he was Robin.
The first Robin.
First
Robin becomes Nightwing when he grows up. Yeah.
Oh, so what? Robin has to be a child?
You can't be Robin as an adult,
I you know what? I don't hate
he's the boy wonder.
I think it would be weird. So is there an age limit? Is it 18? Is it 21? Is it, everyone?
I don't know, but like every Robin does go on. Like Jason Todd, rest in peace, comes back and then he's Red Hood. And then Tim Drake goes on to become a Red Robin when he grows up. And then Damian Wayne, we don't have like a grown-up Damian Wayne, really. I don't think there's been a grown-up Damian Wayne yet.
And when you told me about Damian Wayne, I thought you were talking about Damon Wayans was cast to play Robin in a future movie. I was very confused. Okay, so this is good. And again, there's I'm sure a few listeners at the very least that are new to this DC stuff. We like it, but we don't know any of this stuff. So Bloodraven, the Newark to Gotham's Manhattan. Perfectly said, Bob. I appreciate that.
And then I thought, funny way to kill this universe's Peacemaker. When we see that Peacemaker, who the fuck are you? And then they get into it. He runs out the door, and then he puts the jets on and basically sends him to a fucking ceiling fan. I thought, funny way to kill him. But two thoughts right away. One, it's funny that James Gunn did John Cena fighting himself right after he did David Cornsweat fighting himself. Like back-to-back projects, and also the first episode of Peacemaker season 2. He's like, we're running back the twin fight. We're both picking the same guy in Mortal Kombat. One guy's wearing the helmet, one guy isn't, so you can tell them apart. Another thing that came to mind, it's going to be heart-wrenching, and it's going to be the James Gunn gut punch when John Cena has to go tell Keith and his dad that he killed their version of him. Like, I assume they love Chris Smith, their version of Chris Smith more than anyone. It's fucking his son, his brother. And at some point, they're going to find out that version of him is dead now. It's almost like Severance, like an innie and an outie. Like you don't have your innie anymore. You're only the outie or something.
My sweet Robert. I know, like I said, Peacemaker's a changed man and everything. He's a better man than he was at the end of season 1. That motherfucker is just going to take that guy's life. He doesn't want he doesn't want his life.
I think he is for the first like 75% of the season. And then it's going to be like he's going to grow and he's going to have to fucking have that conversation.
Okay, so that's like all right, these are the difficult things. He's probably going to think it's going to be like, hey, it's all right, man. He's just going to get like punched in the face or attacked. So, yeah, I appreciate you setting me up for the gut punch. I think it'll be down the road. Like 75, you're probably spot on with this right now. How many episodes do we know? Do we know how many episodes we have this season?
I don't actually.
I'll look it up right now.
8. I think there's 8. Because I think they sent out episodes 1 through 5, and there was 3 more.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He said that they hadn't. Yeah, so 8. We go until October 9th. Oh, Peacemaker just take us right through the beginning of football season. I love it.
Wow, October 9th. And I think like the next week HBO's debuting the It series. So HBO is fucking, they're backlogged. They've got some stuff ready to unload.
They're on one, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Season 2, episode 1 was 8.1 out of 10. People gave it. So I think I would have gone a little higher. I would have said,
I probably would have gone a little higher, but mostly setup.
Yeah.
Setting up the season. Also, speaking of setup, James Gunn did this interview recently where he was talking about how, I think he was kind of talking about how some of the in-between DCEU stuff where they didn't really know what they were doing yet. They didn't know if they were going to hire someone kind of like the Flash era, the Black Adam era, where they included Harcourt in like Black Adam and Shazam 2. He didn't really like how she was involved in that. I don't think he had any say on it, where he was kind of like, I don't think she would be running like an underground superhero prison. Like, I think she's a little more grounded or whatever. And he randomly brought up Blue Beetle. He's like, like a show like Blue Beetle or a movie like Blue Beetle fits in perfectly with our DCU. And I think the interviewer was like, I would love to see more Blue Beetle in the DCU. And he was like, I won't say you're not in luck. To the point where I'm like, is Blue fucking Beetle going to be in this season of Peacemaker? I never even watched that movie. And I've heard it's pretty good. I've heard a lot of pretty good. It's not bad. But I thought James Gunn bringing it up was so out of the blue and so random that it almost felt like he was trying to remind people it exists. So people like go back and watch it on HBO Max before they see him pop up in Peacemaker.
Okay. And I bet, if people liked it, it feels like that would be a movie James Gunn would like. Blue Beetle was like, it was like a day at school where you didn't have to go in. And if you went in, you'd probably have fun. It was like a movie day. So when people went in, we're like, no, it was a good day. And you're like, I also didn't go, which was pretty awesome.
I also had fun at home.
Yeah. And in the end, it didn't mean anything because we knew that the DCU was about to get rebooted anyway.
Exactly.
But that is exactly how I chalked.
That's my bold prediction for this season. Blue Beetle makes an appearance, which would also, even though it's my bold prediction, it would still surprise me.
So that's bolder than Superman, I would say. So yeah, I'll take that as a bold prediction.
I think so, because at least Superman, everyone would be like, "Oh, that's awesome." Blue Beetle. I don't even know if people would be like, "That's awesome." They'd be like, "Who's that guy?
Who is that?" Yeah, exactly.
No disrespect to him, but maybe they'd be like, "Oh, all right." It'd almost be like Judo Master appearing, I think, where people be like,
"Yes,
oh, like a weird character we got here. Cool." Like, all right,
Judo Master fucking ruled.
And I hope we get a lot more Vigilante. I fucking love Vigilante.
Dude, I thought I read somewhere that Vigilante got recast or something like that.
Right before season 1, he got recast.
Oh, okay.
So we're good. We got this guy. Yeah,
that guy rules.
Absolutely, he's so good.
I didn't know if they
liked his little scene with the owls.
Yeah,
where he's like, "I'm a fucking Rain Man for owls. Quiz me on anything." He's like, "Are there eyes, orbs, or tubes?" He's like, "Orbs." He's like, "No, tubes."
My note was owls rule because I fucking love owls too. I'm a bird guy, noted bird guy, birds of prey guy.
Bird guy, yeah.
Owls, man, you get a nice owl outside, and those fucking things can attack things too. They are awesome. They have the who down pat. They have their own just corner of the bird game. Just respect owls. Tubes, they have weird fun facts, I feel.
I know. What a weird tubes for eyes.
Have to move their neck. They don't use their eyes. It's very weird. When they said recast Vigilante, I'm like, oh, then when we go to the other universe, it'll be a different guy, and this guy's done. And I was bummed about that. So very, very happy to hear our boys sticking around.
Also, speaking of birds, Mama Fox has a parakeet. She actually used to have 2. We named them Mary Keat and Ashley. Mary Keat unfortunately passed away. That was Lady Fox named him. Very good. Mary Keat passed away, so we still have Ashley. And I swear to God, as soon as Eagly started making noises, Ashley went wild in the cage. Like she heard it. And
Really?
we were like, oh shit, she's trying to fucking talk to Eagly right now. Which I thought was really funny. Yeah.
And if you ever get a third, you have to get Liam and Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, we do. We honestly, yeah, we should just get a third just for the sake of doing that. Another completely random off-topic thing, but just it reminded me of it because the sounds from the TV. We watched this movie called Double Jeopardy this weekend from the 90s. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's
I never saw it. I heard of it for sure. Yes.
It's fine. It was like
Judd?
Nothing special. Yes. It was pretty
Pulled
good.
That out of my ass, the Ashley Judd. I just remember the movie.
At one point during this movie, an alarm goes off. It goes, It's the exact iPhone alarm sound, like the exact iPhone alarm that wakes me up every day. Me and Lady Fox turned to each other wide-eyed, like, that sound is from 1999? And that's waking us up every day. But I was so blown away. I love when that happens in movies. Like when I watch Revenge of the Sith and R2 makes this very specific beep, that's my text tone. And I'm like, oh shit, that's the one. That's my text tone. I like being the Leo meme for things like that. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of things in Peacemaker season 2 that are going to Leo meme us. Just like the bunny in the first episode. Like some people were like, I didn't even know who that bunny was, that character. But there were people that like, oh my God, I can't believe James Gunn included her in the show. And a lot of people took that screenshot too. And they were like, yeah, Pattinson is not in this universe, guys. Like there's no fucking chance. All right. That was Peacemaker season 2 premiere. Good breakdown. Again, like 8.1, 8.5, somewhere in between there, I would say. Good setup for the season. And I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah. Very happy. The bar fight I thought was very well shot.
Oh,
so,
the
like,
bar fight. Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Hardcore.
You know?
Yeah. The hardcore scene with her getting diagnosed with toxic masculinity was very funny.
That was very.
And then her bar fight was good. Someone, I think it was Gooch or Kenjek, said she's fucking built like Sarah Connor in the season. Like she got jacked. She was like, I was believing that she was kicking the shit out of those people.
Like she must have been on the newlywed diet, and then she went on the hardcore diet afterwards. After she got married to old Jimmy Boy. So our boy, the Gun, don't miss. Like I think
don't fucking miss.
It's just nothing. I
just listened to him on Smartless too. I'd recommend people listening to that Smartless, good podcast. He was a good appearance on it.
I just heard of that as well. My wife loves that podcast, but I've never listened to it. However, I was just told Gun is on. I was like, well, I guess this is how I'm going to dive into it. Is with old Jimmy Boy. Good stuff, man. I love it.
All right, we will talk to you later this week. We will try to be a little quicker. We'll try to get the Peacemaker recap out. We don't have much going on after Oasis next week, so we'll talk to you then.